Hi guys. It's I just want to give you some feedback on that short answer uh, riddles on framing that I gave you, and I think won't be long. Just want to say something, and I hope because you know that you really take some notice and remember these things because these are very very important. Framing is so important because framing determines everything that happens after that. If you frame it correctly, everything will go well after that. If you frame it wrongly, everything will go wrong after that. So that's why framing is so important. It'll determine everything you do. That's why I gave you an example of David and Goliath. If you frame him as a giant, you will take different measure than framing him as a target. Everything will determine what you do after framing. So here you go, and you meet with a guy with the name of Nitin, meet his father about money from a will. Guys, you have to frame this correctly. What are you going to do there? If you're going to do that to ask him money, you're dead, it's over. You have to first get the climate right. If the climate is not right, you cannot even move one step towards the money problem. So your first priority is just to get the climate right. One student very well put it that they start with an apology. There's nothing as powerful as an apology at the right moment. Collapse your power, go for an apology to get the climate right. Make it as an act as if it's your fault. So then if the climate is right, you can start talking about it. But I won't even do that in the first meeting. The first meeting is just a meeting. Frame it as a meeting to get the relationship on a level that you can negotiate again. You cannot negotiate bad issues on top of difficult issues on top of bad climate. I have many examples for you in my own life, in consulting that I did, which exactly addressed this point. Where people want to go in with court cases, go in with a fight, and I said, you cannot even touch that unless you get the climate right. Go in with an apology, go in with a whole function for the whole staff on tea time. Go apology to the boss at that time, as I said, it was a client, a supplier situation. Then you can maybe, only later, still don't address it. You can maybe at a later stage. In fact, you can address that. Or it will even be addressed by the other side sometimes if you, if you just get the climate right. It's even possible that Ntini's dad will address the issue first if the climate is proper. Okay, I think there was some very good answers here too, I must admit, and I could see some cultural difference in the group too. And my friends from Brazil, they're obviously very sensitive to relationship in a country like that, and everyone they had no problem with first getting the climate relationship absolutely sorted out. I'm not saying that the American answers were less good. There were some good ones too, and some very creative ones. But it was interesting also to note some of the cultural differences in the group here. Right, let's go to the next one, the tree case. Guys, there were also some very good ones here. Some people suggested, he's going to first invite his neighbor for a barbecue and then get the relationship right, and then maybe, get a concession on the tree, or put him in the situation where he can see the tree himself from your own garden, where you have the barbecue, which of course can be very persuasive because it plays also on the cognitive dissonance approach. The guy have to behave, he's got to sit there where you sit and watch the sea from your view, and then maybe he'll understand. That could be a very effective approach too. But I told you, frame yourself properly. I said, just go and say, it's a fantastic tree, it's a great tree. How can you somehow buy that tree? And you will, pay any amount of money just to get hold of that tree. And then, of course, you can destroy it. You can do with anything what you want with it, which is a real case, which, as I told you. The next one is selling the jerky. The same thing. You have to frame yourself something different. Maybe a researcher. Do an experiment first in the store. Some people had lots of what one student very well called a zero-sum approach, which means you only, and that goes for most of these little questions. You don't want to be in a situation where the other side will only say yes or no. Avoid at all cost. You're all gambling here. Avoid at all cost to gamble with your neighbor, with Tini's dad. Um, you're gambling if you go in and try and sell jerky on all your data and all your stuff you've collected about how good your product is. You're still gambling. It's a 50-50 chance they say yes or they say no. You don't want to be in that chance. You want to improve your chances. That's what framing is all about. Improving your chances by coming with the right frame, at least with the right, such a nice frame that they will see you again. So ask them if you can do some research. And if they say no, you can say, well, can I do some research on something else? Or at least build a relationship. Say, how can you help me? Go ahead with this. So they would even help you. The way I understand how publics often operate, they will help you. They will help the small guy and what they could do, and they will even, give you some ideas. So get them on your side. You don't want to be in a zero-sum situation. Do research. First have, people taste it and give them some feedback so they can be involved in that process too. They don't want to take a chance either. So this could be a great thing. Next one is the divorce case. Guys, please, there's a lot of, I think, don't be naive about this. When you're in a divorce situation, and you will get there, still maybe some of you. I hope not, but maybe. There's only one objective of each party, and that is they don't give a damn. They're going to get the other person out of their lives. They don't give a damn if the other side gets nothing, as long as they get them out of their life. They will just get away as quickly as possible. And everyone wants everything. And they don't want to agree on a 50-50 split like some of you suggest. No one wants 50-50 in a divorce case. You want everything. They think short term. They think, I don't care. They don't realize that in the long term you have to see each other forever again. At every funeral, at every kid's party. So that is the common ground, the kids. But it should be very strong. But after that is just how quickly can we get this over? And who is the toughest here? Who wants to get rid of the other one in the most desperate way? A lot of people are willing to give everything. Take the house, take the car, take the money, take everything. As long as I have access to my kids on a regular basis, I want nothing. I want just my freedom. That's maybe the common ground. They want freedom to go on with their lives again. That's common interest, maybe. Just want to be free as quickly as possible. How can we make that possible? We want the kids. It will be great if we can still have some sort of relationship that we can maybe. But normally that happens anyway after a year or two of seeing the kids and going to fetch the kids on a regular basis. There is slowly the relationship, but it does kind of. There's a bit of a remedy there, but guys, don't be naive here. This at that point of time, nobody cares. All right, they don't care if you just get the virus. All right, they just want you out of their lives. I'm sorry, guys, don't want to burst your bubbles, but just remember that. Okay, and then yes, there were some creative ones here, and there were some good ones, and but I and I think pretty realistic ones too. But I wouldn't go too far in being too naive about this. All right. And then the last one is the hostage taker. I think there were also some very good ones there. I enjoyed it. All right. What do you want? You just, of course, there's no common ground really here, except maybe the guy wants his money. And my common ground could be, in theory, that I want to help the guy get his money and get away for free and live it and have a life, and no one later on searching for him and get him out. I was in that situation. I actually got a deal with this guy. All right, and he trusted me. I told him that we're gonna, there's a special addendum to the law that says that if he gets some psychological treatment, he will not go to jail, and we will definitely. And I had an advocate speak to him and says yes, that we will do that. And a psychologist speak to him and says we're just going to put you in some place for a small time. We're going to evaluate you. You're obviously off balance, and there's going to be no retribution later. Sometimes those things could help. Sometimes it is just create trust with him and say, give him the money and stuff, which somebody suggests sometimes much better, and then let him go, and later on you can put a sniper that someone is suggested from the group. You put your snipers in the right place, which is actually what happened in my case. The one that I remember the most vividly, all right, where I had to negotiate with a hostage taker in an apartment building, and when he finally opened the windows, or the curtains and the windows, to look where I'm standing, having all the trust, three snipers shot him at the same time. And all my negotiations was difficult. Sometimes more difficult was to negotiate with the police, not to shoot the guy, but that even failed. Okay, guys, so just remember framing. I thought one or two of you also referred to prospect theory, the gains and loss theory, frame in terms of gains and loss. I really appreciate that. It shows that you have really understand the theory, and you know the importance of it, and that is important. And but you have to look at this from various perspectives, not just sometimes from one. And if you frame this stuff right, your future is secure. Thank you very much, and I hope that you can all listen to this short input as a feedback to your assignment.